Okay, so right now we have a lot of Q&As as well. A lot of people actually commented in our previous videos and asking some questions. For example, I'm going to read out one by Jack Lee. He mentioned in our comment, I want to know what is the most impractical four-seater car in the market. Well, in my opinion, if you're going to talk about the most impractical four-seater car, I would say it's those 2+2s. So, for example, the 86 will be impractical, right? Because it's a 2+2. It's not just a strictly two-seater. It's very cramped behind. And it's not just the 86 I'm talking about. I mean, there are a lot of other two-seater cars out there that are highly impractical.
Yes.
So if you're, I mean, I hope that answers your question because you're asking about the most impractical four-seater car.
Yeah.
So these are four-seater cars, two-door four-seater cars. They're always a headache.
Yeah, and I can agree to that. I think a lot of times people just buy these cars because it's the idea of just having two seats at the back just in case you actually need it. But if you actually need it, it's really, it's not going to be great. I remember the Ford Mustang, that's a 2+2, but I think I got back into the back seat and then I couldn't come out. I think I was alone on that day when I took the car out for a test drive, and I was a bit flustered. If I came out of the car in a very ungainly way. But yeah,
exactly.
Impractical.
If memory serves correctly, I think even the Audi TT is a 2+2, right?
Yes, you're right. And in fact, there's a warning label at the back of a Audi TT's boot which says don't close the boot if there's someone sitting at the back, as in don't slam it because
because you're gonna hit the person.
That guy's head is gonna come through the rear glass. So that's quite a funny warning sticker that I remember. But it's actually the TT is quite okay. Actually, it's not too bad.
I mean, most of them are fine, but I think it's still the most impractical one. Having four-seater, two-door cars are always the most impractical cars. They look good. They probably drive well, sporty, I guess. But when it comes to practicalities, I think it's not the best. Not the first choice, I would say. So, Jack, there we have your answer for you.
Yes.
We have another question actually. Eugene Ko is actually asking for fuel type, which is the best? V-Power versus 98 versus 95. Do they make a difference? John?
It depends on what exactly you're pumping for. If you think that if your car takes, you read your manual, it says it takes 95. Pumping 98 and V-Power really doesn't matter. At least what I researched on the internet lah. But if your manual says 98 and you pump 95, you're going to have a problem because of the compression of the fuel.
Yes,
your engine isn't able to combust the fuel properly. So if your manual says if your manual says 98, don't think that 95 is suitable.
Yes, that's right.
Well, I actually completely agree with you, but I do have a slight disagreement, if you don't mind, John. So what happens is, my car, I have to pump 98. I can't do 95, right? The octane level is higher. I've tried hovering around V-Power and 98 just for the sake of experimenting how it is. Actually, V-Power performs badly for me.
Okay.
When it comes, it's for some reason, fuel economy is actually really bad when I do V-Power. Performance-wise, it's insignificant. I mean, you don't really feel that much more of a power boost or anything like that you would expect. Whereas 98 is a very, very sweet spot. It performs very well. Fuel economy, I'm still doing a very reasonable 10.5 kilometers per liter, depending on how I drive, of course. So I don't really think there's much of a difference. Of course, price is a big factor, right? I mean, 95 and 98. It's a
Yep.
couple of cents difference, and up to 90. V-Power is about $1, I think, almost $1. So, Eugene, I think my answer to your question is yes, they do make a difference. However, it depends on what sort of differences. I mean, price is the difference, fuel economy is the difference. But I think when it comes to performance, it highly depends on what type of car you're driving.
Yes, that's right.
I-
V-Power, I feel
I
better
must
with
say-
V-Power though.
Oh, you do?
Really, yeah?
Yeah, I get better fuel consumption with V-Power, and there's not much carbon build up. Also, that's one thing. And my car
Yeah.
says 95 on the fuel cap. So if I pump 95 in the car, it would drive normally, but there's a lot of carbon build up. So when I floor the throttle, the car becomes a squid for a short period of time with a lot of black smoke at the back. But if I pump V-Power for a few tanks, that problem is gone. Or 98 rather. So it's quite interesting that some cars, it really depends on your car really. So if you actually drive
Okay,
the
wait.
Yeah.
I have a question. Right? Do you think all these is just psychological? Like,
Well,
it's
I
just
don't.
how your butt feels.
Yeah, but the thing is, if your butt is sitting on a car for weeks or months, you definitely will
Even
start to
years.
feel a year, a couple of years,
Yeah.
and then you actually change the fuel after a few tanks, and you realize that hey, the car drives a bit better now. Like the problems that you had before are gone. And that's what I felt when I pumped 98,
Okay,
and
fair enough.
it says 95 on the flap. So
Okay.
it really
Interesting
depends
fact.
on the car. Yeah,
Idris
it depends
drives
on the car.
a turbo version of the car that I'm driving, and I
Yes.
have driven. I've pumped 95 and then 98 and then the special V-Power or whatever the other pumps have. Not much difference to me except my wallet. That's my experience. In terms of mileage, I don't get more. But maybe it's just my driving habits is different. I don't floor it as much.
Right.
So yeah, I think to Eugene, it really depends on how you drive
Yeah.
and what you want out of petrol. Do you want more mileage or do you want more performance? Yeah, it's really high.
Eugene, I say go for mileage, man. Go for mileage. Mileage is always a more practical choice. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and tell us exactly what you want us to cover in the following weeks to come in the comment box below. Feel free also to ask any questions you'd like us to answer. In the meantime, stay safe, stay home. Until next time.